everybody wants to go somewhere. We're all looking towards the future and change and for things to become better. But at the same time, we don't want to give up where we're at right now. And there's this internal battle between where we are and where we want to go. Let's look at the top 3 steps that you can take to help you let go of those things that no longer serve you. Let's go. Welcome to Phoenix Rising, a superior podcast for all of your transformative tools for personal and spiritual growth. Let's go get that nugget. You know, every single one of us has a goal, has a something in the future that we're kind of riding towards in our life. We want to make more money. We want to lose weight. We want to get healthy. We want to find love. We want to travel more. We want to retire, great career. But there's always something. There's these obstacles that get in our way, right? And every time that happens, we find ourselves in this internal battle that I want this goal, but there's something in my way. And if we have to struggle and butt up against that thing that's in our way too long or too often, we're going to give up. And instead of giving up, I want to give you the 3 steps that I use to help me to recognize those obstacles, bust through them, let go of what no longer is serving me so I can reach that goal a lot faster. So the first step is to identify and acknowledge that it's an obstacle. So when we're looking at the goal, put the goal out linear, out in front of you, however many miles. And I always love using driving. It just works so well and such a great analogy. But let's say you're driving from wherever you are right now to 1,000 miles away. Well, we can't wait for all green lights before we get in the car. And I know that a lot of us attempt to do that before we will let our goals unfold and become closer to us. So it's important to look at our future, look at the goal, say that it's 1,000 miles away, and then understand that there's going to be obstacles in front of you. There's going to be stop signs, there's going to be traffic, there's going to be detours, construction, weather. There's always going to be all these issues. That's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey and the planning. And we just need to equip ourselves, right? So the first thing is to identify the obstacles. So what I like to do is to say, okay, make your big statement of what it is that you want. Don't worry about how you're going to say it, but just don't put any negative words in it. Say what it is that you want. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be a millionaire. I want to change careers. I want to find the love of my life. Make the big, bold statement. Don't say, I don't want to be stressed. Okay. Make the statement of what it is you want versus not want. When you look at that statement, there should not be any negative words. So that's the first thing. Now, the next is to identify what the obstacles are. I want that thing, but, and I always say, whatever it is that's stopping you is behind your butt. And to look at that and go, what are my obstacles? What are the things that are in my way? What are the beliefs that I have about achieving that thing? I want to make $1 million, but I don't know how, but it's going to be hard, but I already work a full-time job, but I have kids to take care of, but I don't have time, but the economy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then you take those and then you go, you know what? Here's step 2. I am willing to release that. Understand that is a story. That story that you tell yourself over and over again is what's going to block your way. It is going to prevent you. Because remember, we are walking through our life and our beliefs and our thoughts are getting thrown out onto our sidewalk of life. They are going out in front of us and they are attracting the things. Either they're opening the runway and we have a clear runway towards our goal, or they are getting in our way. Here we need to recognize, this is number 2, we need to recognize that it's a story. It's a story that we told ourselves. It's a story that someone told us and we believed it. It is either way a story. Now, do you want that to be part of your story? Do you want it to be a struggle? Do you want to struggle and go through all these obstacles and have it be really super hard? And then when you reach your goal, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it was so amazing because I had to struggle so hard to get there. Or you're like, screw that. I just want my goal to be here as fast as I can, or as fast as it can. So you decide. I say, because I like things to be easy. I like a challenge. I like things, I don't want to just, float down the river. I like to have to be able to paddle a little bit or get out and pick the tube up and walk around the thing or portage around, some obstacle or something. I like that. It gives the journey some flavor. But I don't want it to be so hard and so overwhelming and insurmountable that I don't start, that I don't ever go. And I want that to be for you. So the thing is, let's release it. So you say, you know what? I release this story. And how about this? What is on the other side of that story? If you say, I want to make $1 million, but it's going to be too much work. Okay, there's an obstacle. Now, when I say I want to make $1 million, I don't really have this passion for that thing because I'm afraid of all the obstacles that are in my way. I want to lose 20 pounds and there's all these obstacles. I'm like, well, it'll be good if I do, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot of, I don't really like the gym. I don't really want to, give up the food that I'm eating. I really want to, okay, well, if there are all those obstacles, you're not going to be excited about your goal. But if we can mentally and energetically, which is what I do and where I work, that's where my coaching is. If we can energetically and mentally release those blocks and remove those blocks, you're going to be like, oh, hell yes. Now I've got a clear runway towards my goal. And I am equipped to any obstacle that gets in my way. I know how to release it. So we're letting them go. Ask yourself, if this wasn't an obstacle, if this wasn't true, what would be true? If that thing was not in my way, if it wasn't hard, what would it be? Oh, it would be easier. It'd be challenging, but I would still be able to accomplish it. It would be fun. Think of what that is and start to, now you're removing the obstacle and you're putting something else in its way. You're putting, instead of this big wooden border or blockade in your way, not a border, this big blockade in your way, you're removing that and you're putting like racer finish line tape that you can just run right through. Right? So you're starting to equip yourself. The next is to replace it. So we kind of did that and rebuild. So you're taking away the roadblock and you're putting in this finishing line tape that you can just bust right through. Now, I'll tell you those 3 steps again, but here's the clue. When you talk about your goal right now, are you fired up at pretty darn near 100%? And if the answer is no, then you have these mental, emotional, and energy blocks that are bogging you down. It's too much work. It's too hard. There's too many of them. It's too insurmountable. I don't even want to do it. It's too much work. I don't even want to talk about it. So pretty soon you're going to sort of talk about it, but you're going to talk about it in this defeated way. Okay. You with me so far? So you talk about your goal and you're like, heck yes, God, I'm getting it. Let's go. Then those blocks have been removed. If you're like, yeah, I could maybe try to lose a few pounds, or yeah, I could try to increase my income, but I'm not really going to align with it. Then their blocks are there. Okay. So let's go through the 3 steps again. First is to identify that they're there, that there's my goal. Here's my beliefs, and understand that they are a story. The next is let them go, release them. This is the second step. Release them. I release, and say that for every single one. I release this story. I release this belief. You're working at energy and people are like, I think it should be harder. And I go, I don't think it should be harder. I don't want it to be hard. I don't want anything in my life to be so hard that I just don't achieve it. So I work with energy and I'm telling you, it becomes really easy and it becomes really fun. So try it on. What's the worst that's going to happen? What have you got to lose other than reaching your goal? And then the next is replace that obstacle with something that sounds fun. So, reaching that goal seems like it'd be really hard. And then you ask yourself, if it wasn't hard, what would it be? It would be fun. Okay, now create that sentence, create that belief that supports you reaching and running full steam ahead at your goal. So those are the steps. Now, I want to talk about something else where you are also shifting your identity. So picture this. You're just a normal person and one day you decide you're going to run a marathon. And you train and you work and you diligently, you get up in the morning, you run however many miles, you go through this training, you sign up for the race, you do the race, you come home, you're like, holy crap, you lay on the couch, you sleep all day. And then the next day, you are called a marathoner. You are called a finisher. You're called a runner. You're called something different. You have a new identity because of something that you have accomplished. When we are reaching goals, when we are looking towards our life and we want to move towards whatever that thing is, you have to create a new identity for yourself. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, because they think that something on their goal side, picture a fence. You're on one side of the fence where your life is currently, and on the other side of the fence is this beautiful, grand life that you want. And you're standing, straddling the fence. Let's say it's a short fence, or you're super tall. You're straddling the fence. I don't want to let go of what's comfortable. I don't want to give up the blah, blah, blahs, whatever I'm giving up. And over here, it's going to be hard, or I have to give up the foods I like, or I'm going to work too hard, or it's going to be, I'm going to have to give up all my time. Whatever the thing is, that's the thing that's stopping you. And this is what I want to call that inner war, the battle between what I want and where I'm at. And when there's that battle, it is only the beliefs that create the obstacles that create this inner turmoil. I want to go, but I want to be a millionaire, but I want to find true love, but, okay? That inner turmoil is, I want to identify as this person who has this thing. I want to be a millionaire. I want my business to be so successful that before I die, I can call myself a millionaire. Well, I have to let go of the identity that I have right now that is creating the life that I have right now financially. I have to let go of that identity, and then I have to start thinking like a rich person. I have to start thinking as a person who manages their money, who makes money, who elevates their product or their service to a point that money comes in and money goes out. I have to think of money differently, because my thinking and a millionaire's thinking are different. Somebody who is not healthy because of the foods they eat and somebody who is thin and fit and healthy have very different stories that they tell themselves. They have very different beliefs. They have very different words that they use. They have, of course, different foods. That's the action that comes from the belief. Remember, it's our thoughts and our words that then travel down across the belief bridge that then go into the emotion. So if I am loading myself up with new words, new thoughts, new stories, then I can let go of that other identity that no longer serves me. This all becomes a new state of being. This becomes a new way of doing things. And now it's like you are the director of your life and creating a new script. And if you take an actor, look at Brad Pitt. So you take Brad Pitt as an actor and you put him in Benjamin Button movie, and then you take him over here and you put him in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then you take him over here and you put him in Ocean's 11. He has very different demeanors in all three of those movies. And every single one of them, he has a new personality. He's an assassin in this movie, he's crazy in this movie, and he's like cool and calm and chill in this movie. Okay, well, that's us. If you want to play the game, we have to become the person who plays that game. We have to step fully into and embrace the skills and the mentality and the emotional state of the person who has those things. Now the game is, how do I reprogram myself? How do I reprogram my subconscious mind that is holding this personality of this person who lives in lack or doesn't have enough or plays the victim role or is unhealthy? I need new thoughts and new words and new stories. Now, this is not hard. I tell my clients and people all the time, like, this is not hard. It does take a little bit of time if you've not done it before, but it is all about letting go of the beliefs and the stories that you tell yourself that aren't working. If I'm saying, oh man, I just never have enough money after my paycheck, that's a story. Now you go, well, yeah, Jen, but it's true. And I go, it's true because you say it. Your words and your thoughts are making it true. So now change your words and your thoughts, right? Get into the subconscious mind, reprogram it, and create a new life. And that's what I do. That's what I help my clients do, is to tell new stories, become a new storyteller, become a person who is abundant, become a person who is in love, become a person who is living the big, bold, beautiful life that you want. And in order to do that, we must let go of the person we are in this very moment of the things that aren't working. If your money is working really well, don't change that part of you. Keep feeding that. Feed it even more. Add more emotion and more words and more vocabulary. Tell that story more often. But if your love life isn't working, change the words. If your health isn't working, change the words. Understand what the obstacles are that are getting in your way and go, you know what? I am jumping over this fence into the new yard, and I'm going to reconstruct my stories, my thoughts, my words, and then my beliefs are going to carry those over into the emotional state, and you're going to find that your life is shifting and changing dramatically, drastically, and in such a bold, beautiful way. Things are going to start flowing to you like you've never seen before. Things out of the ordinary, serendipities and synchronicities are going to start happening. But we must start being the gatekeeper at our mind. We must become the person who stands guard and blocks those thoughts that go through that don't serve us. We must block those thoughts. Because the life you have right now is a buildup of that story. Whatever the story is, it's a buildup of those stories. And as we are telling a new story, our life is going to start changing. That's what I want for you. So I hope that right now, in the very beginning, you will say, okay, there's my goal. I'm going to go get it. And I'm going to become that woman warrior. I'm just going to become a warrior. And I'm going to go get that goal. And I'm going to do what Jen is saying. And I'm going to step fully into the other yard. I'm going to step all the way in and I'm going to reconstruct. And it's going to take me a minute to reprogram my subconscious mind. But understand that's what you're doing. That you are just reprogrammed, just like a computer. You are going into the core center of yourself and you're reprogramming. Nope, I don't want to think like that anymore. I want to think like this. Nope, I don't want to use those words. I want to use these words. And it's going to become a complete game changer. I hope you do it. If you need some help, dude, reach out to me, themeditationroomtc@gmail.com, and say, let's talk. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening. If you liked that episode, please subscribe, like, or write a review. Let me know how that landed with you. If you'd like to support this podcast, please check out in the show notes where you can buy me a chai tea, or you can join my newest podcast membership for exclusive episodes, guided meditations, and transformative exercises that you won't find anywhere else. Bring your journal, open your heart, and let's get ready for some serious transformation.